Hello everyone, welcome to Roman Just Codes, Life Coding After Hours. I'm Roman, and this is Season 1, Episode 8, in which I'm continuing the development of this Angular PWA that I started a couple of episodes ago, which is a native application developed in Flutter, and now I'm porting it over as an Angular PWA. Let me show you. For those of you who are just joining, again, this is an application that I've been developing for the past couple of episodes called Torsi. Torsi is an application that originally started as is actually right now available out there as a native iOS and Android application developed in Flutter. And now I'm porting it over as an Angular PWA, again, to prove the point that you can develop like very robust web applications using like PWA, progressive web apps technologies and strategies, so that you can actually have that write once, run anywhere type of approach. And then you can actually, again, make sure you can access it in multiple devices. You can actually access it as almost like as a mobile application because of its native capabilities, of offline capabilities, push notifications, the ability to be added to the home page and have like an icon and all that. Also like leveraging service workers and whatnot. So this is the application that we've been developing. It's called Torsi, which is a hand curated collection of the best touristic attractions in the Dominican Republic. It's available out there again for iOS and Android. Let me show you. So if you actually go to my portfolio, so if you go to actually this is a good segue to show you that you can access my portfolio and contact me via romanjustcodes.web.app. romanjustcodes.web.app is my personal page, my portfolio. Here you can find a bunch of things about like, when I'm streaming, my videos, my blogs, swag that I have available, and a bunch of stuff about me, as well as the stuff that I developed in the past. This application right here, Torsi, is the one that we are porting over. It's available in both iOS and Android, and it's a hand-curated list of touristic attractions in Dominican Republic, and that's what we're doing today. So we're continuing some of the stuff that we've been building for the past 8 episodes. For the past 7 episodes, now in episode 8, we are continuing that piece. Let me show you where we are. Again, I just wanted to remind everybody to, again, follow me on Twitter at DRCoders. That's the handle, at DRCoders. Also, again, please continue watching and supporting these good quality videos that I've been putting out there, both on Twitch and YouTube. So follow me on those 2 platforms where I'll be doing live streaming very frequently. Also, I write blogs on Medium, so also you can follow me there. I have a bunch of stuff written about Flutter, also Angular, and other technologies. So please make sure to take a look at that. So this is where we were on the application. Please make sure to watch the previous episodes so that you've seen the journey where I've taken you guys. Those of you who are just joining, I'm just giving you a little recap of what the application is and what it's about. So you see, like, as soon as you load Torsi, there you go, you get like a list of the top rated attractions in the Dominican Republic, and you can see like all those attractions right there. You can scroll up and down, you see like all these attractions. You can actually see them by region. So you have like by region, you can select one region in the island, and then you get like a set of attractions. You can select one attraction, see more information about it. There's like a video on each one of those attractions. You can make it your favorite. For example, let's say I like this one. Let me visit it again, or let me actually take a look at it later. You can favorite, and then if you go to the favorites, you do have like a favorite section where all those ones that you've been favoriting will appear here. For example, you see that now I have like one favorite. If I come back over, I can even do it right here in line, and I can just favorite it right there, and you see that now I have my favorites equals 2. If you click over there, then they are. You can actually clear them right from here, and then you don't have any other favorites. So that's what we've been developing, and a couple of the strategies that we've implemented so far. Again, Angular 11, we're using some state management, very basic state management, basic but robust. Don't get me wrong. Using RxJS, using BehaviorSubjects, creating services, very decoupled components, communicating via services. I'm using my own RESTful API that I developed that is actually feeding this application. The same backend, the same API that is actually being fed into the native application. So it's good that I'm using that same backend. The backend is actually hosted in the Google Cloud using Google Cloud Functions. This application will also be hosted in using Firebase hosting. In today's episode, actually, what I'm going to be doing is Firebase Authentication. So maybe some of you might wonder what Firebase Authentication is. So if you go to Firebase, like your console, Firebase again is a great product that allows you to build like very scalable applications for mobile, web, also like server-side stuff. Like again, you do cloud functions. You can do like real-time database. You could do Firebase Cloud Firestore. You could do real-time database. You could do there's a bunch of features that Firebase gives you that make your application like very rich and very robust. So I've been using Firebase to power this application and other applications that I've been developing. But what we're actually going to be looking right now is at Firebase Authentication. Firebase Authentication, if you see like from Google, actually allows you to provide very seamless integration of authentication into your applications using third-party providers like Google, Facebook, Twitter, Microsoft, and a bunch of others. I'm going to show you how to do that here. So what we will do is allow the user to log in via their own, let's say, Gmail account or a Facebook account or Twitter account, and then they will be authenticated into the application. It will have like a personalized page for them and whatnot. That's what we will be doing. So let me show you here pretty much what we will be doing. In the previous episode, actually that's where I left off. In the previous season 1, episode 7, this is where we left it off. We had the map view. Please make sure to watch that previous episode where we developed this piece. The map view here in the application allows you to tap on one of the attractions, and then you get this like sliding panel from the bottom of the screen, and then you get the information about that attraction that you just selected. If you select on that sliding panel, it takes you to the description of that, and so on and so forth. You can hit back, and then you can go back again and select another one. You can again scroll, zoom in, zoom out of the map, and keep selecting other attractions. Sorry, and then you can you select, and then the one that you like, you can click, and then you get the description. What we will be doing in this episode will be Firebase Authentication. So here, as you can see here, is, for example, like the profile page. This will be driven by the account that you use to authenticate using Firebase. Firebase makes it super transparent, super clean, and very, very hassle-free, that you can integrate, provide like another level of security to your applications by introducing authentication. And Firebase makes it so easy to do. So again, it provides like, again, backend services, easy to use SDKs, and definitely like, it takes away that like all that like implementation that you have to do on your own, and actually takes that away from you and just makes you focus on your experience. So as you see, like you can actually integrate add Firebase Authentication for iOS, Android, and we're going to be doing it for the web, which is our application. So this is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be creating this profile page. We're going to be extending on that. And those of you who have been following these videos, I needed to create like an additional page, kind of like a welcome page. That's what we're going to be doing also today. So I'll create a welcome page. Once you go into the application, you'll be greeted. Oh, welcome to Torsi. Please log in with Google. If you click on this button, then you will be presented with a pop-up. The pop-up then will show you how to authenticate against Google. You select that particular account. Then you can, then once you provide your credentials, then you will see like this like profile page right here. So there you go. It's like, okay, welcome Roma, blah, blah, blah. These are your attractions, the one that you've selected as your preferred or whatever, or go to the main page or log out, stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly what we want to do. So let's proceed. Let me just move this to the side, and this is the code right here. So let's start. Remember, so what we're gonna do is actually 2 pages. We're gonna create 2 pages: the welcome page and this profile page. We already have it. I already have that profile page created, but I'm gonna be creating that additional one. So if you see here, like in app, and I go to pages, and then I have this like profile page. I can show you here in the application. If you click and then you go to profile, there's just that, like it's empty. But we actually want to make it look like the one in the design. Let's start with this one, like with welcome to Torsi, blah blah blah. So why don't we start? Why don't we start with that one? And actually, let me just do the developer tools. I can just bring it over here, so at least we have it there. We don't need this for now. We can continue taking a look at that, but perfect. Okay, so let me go, and I will go immediately into Let me make sure that I have this guy right here. Where am I? So I'm in the, okay, so I need to go to the source app pages. So I go to the pages and then I create one additional page. Remember, I'm going to be creating that welcome page. So I'll just call it ng. Remember, we're using the Angular CLI. So I'm using the Angular CLI command to create a new page. It's a component. I'm just calling it page. That's kind of like my the nomenclature that I'm using. So for components that are like full blown and take up the whole screen, I'm calling them pages. So I just do ng generate component. That's what it stands for. GC ng generate component, and then I'm gonna say welcome dash page, just so that I can keep the same naming convention as the other one. So I'll do like a welcome page. I already have the profile, but let's start with a welcome page. Perfect. So there's my welcome page. I need to make sure that I need to add that in the routing module. So the routing module, now I'm gonna create like one additional component. I can just even copy one of these guys. For example, actually I can just do it right here, and then I say component, welcome page component, and the path will be just like that, welcome. Instead of the default path to be the main attraction stop rated, now because we're introducing this welcome page, I want the welcome page to be the first page to be displayed for the user, because then we want to greet them, ask them to log in, and then we'll take them into the application. So what do we do? Instead of this, I'll say redirect to welcome. Every time I refresh the application, now instead it will redirect to the welcome page. Let's take a look at that. So if I just start the application from scratch, you see it redirects right to welcome, and then welcome page works, blah blah blah, there it is. Now I need to show again, like kind of like that structure that I want to develop for my application. So why don't we start? It's very simple. It just says welcome page works, but we want to create something a little bit more robust. So let's do that. Let's go to pages. Give me 1 second. So we can just go here to pages, welcome. Oh, I already have this folder, so I'll just delete this here. Okay, there you go. So we have welcome page. Perfect. There you go. Very empty. So I'm going to start creating like a parent component. I'm just going to call it as normal. Say like welcome page. And then I'm going to be using, I'm leveraging that other class called app page that I have it in my global set of styles. What do they do? What does it do? Let me show you. So this app page, all it does is just stretches the page, position absolute, top 56 pixels, because it's taking the header into consideration, 56 pixels. So then other than that, it just expands to take up the whole screen. So it's just using that. So I'm leveraging that class right there, app page. The next thing, I'm going to have two components, two regions, the top and the bottom. If I show you here in the design, I want to have, for example, this guy right here. So I want to have welcome to Torsi, which this is like the top, and then this will be like the bottom part, right? So I want to have like a top, which will take the whole thing, and then the bottom, which is that the button. So again, we're going to have like a top. So I'm just going to say div class welcome page top. You can just call it just like that. And then I'm going to have another. I could have like a bottom component, but actually what I'm going to do here is straight up have a button. So remember, the button is just going to say login with, let me see what just like the design says. It's going to say login with Google. It's just a button. This will take up the whole top section, and just because I'm going to have one button, I don't have to have another container. Let's avoid having unnecessary containers. Let's just add the button right away. So I'll just say button. The button will, and it says login with Google. Let's try that. So I'll just say login with Google, and then that's it. Here, then inside my page top, then remember I'm going to have the logo. So I'm going to have another container called welcome page logo. Sorry about that. So I'll say welcome page logo. Sorry, my keyboard is like in the way. Okay, so welcome page logo, and then in here I'm going to show like that logo. I'm going to just use it straight up, and I believe it's inside assets, icons, and then I think I called it icon Torsi. Let me take a look again real quick. So right here in my assets, icons, I want to use the Torsi green, icon Torsi green.svg. There you go. So I have that. Okay, that's my the piece of the logo. Then the next thing that I want to have is remember, I want to show welcome to Torsi, enjoy the most beautiful attractions from the Dominican Republic. So I have icon, title, subtitle. So let's just do that. So I'll have like a div class, and then it's called welcome page title. What I want to have here says welcome to Torsi. That's okay. Copy paste, and then this I'll just call it subtitle. And then here I'm just gonna say the same thing I see in the design, where it says like, enjoy the most beautiful attractions from Dominican Republic. It's just like a subtitle that I want to have in there, just so that it's just not that plain. So let me spell it correctly. Perfect. And then if we save this, and then let's see how it behaves. I'll just show that. There you go. Welcome to Torsi. Enjoy the most perfect. Perfect. Okay, that's it. So now I want to start like adding like some of those classes and styling it correctly. So let's go to that corresponding component, which is the page, the welcome page. And then in here, I think I want to use some of the colors. So I'll just go here and just say import, and then let's go find that that class that has the style that has a color. So assets, styles, colors. There you go. Perfect. The top component, remember, is just called welcome page. So I'll just call it just the same thing, welcome page. I want to have, actually, why don't we start doing it again the way that I like doing it here in the developer tool, so then you can start taking a look at it in real time. So you see that I'm not cheating or anything. Okay, one of the things that I forgot to do here, let's just do it real quick, that I like to do, encapsulation view encapsulation.none. This allows you to not just have your styles concentrated in that single component, but actually make it so that even other classes affected. You have to use it with caution and be smart about it. So I'm going to show you like that technique, why I'm doing that. And basically I truly want to do like truly cascading of styles. Like some styles outside of this component could affect it, but because I'm doing it on purpose, but it's okay. Let me show you. So let's bring the developer tools again, and then let's just let's just save. And then I'm going to start adding those styles, and then I'm just going to bring them right over. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So once I'm here, you see that the welcome page, so my welcome page is this top component. I want to say display flex. Of course, that's not what I want, but I want to do when I do display flex, because I want that component, the components inside, to behave responsibly, in a responsive way. So check this out. So I'll do flex direction, column. Now you see it behaves as a column. Perfect. I want to add some padding around it, so let's do like padding 30 pixels, something like that. And I want the text, the content to be like centered. So I'll just do justify content center, like that. That's exactly what I want. Perfect. So I could keep it like that. Now if I go here to the top piece, so the top piece, I actually want it to be the container inside of this welcome page component that takes up the most, like the most space with the most space within it. So for that, I have to say flex 1. And you see, if you notice right here, the top piece takes up the most of the container, of the parent container, while pushing all the other siblings like to the edges. In this case, the button, that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to be at the bottom, so that's exactly what I'll do. So in that one, I'll say like flex 1, but then now internally, now because this is a separate component inside of that welcome page top, I am also doing display flex. I'm doing display flex. Why? Because I also want those children inside of that child, like of that welcome page, to also behave in a responsive manner, and then so that they can be structured in a way that is flexible. So for that, I just say again the same thing, flex direction column, and then you see now they're in a column. Same thing. I'm gonna say justify content center. That's okay. I do align item center for that also. I can say align item center. Yeah, I'll fix that in a minute. And then, for example, you see now, I think, yeah, I just messed it up right there. Anyway, but check this out. So I'll just do text align center. I want the text to be aligned at the center. And then, of course, this one, I also want like a padding of 30 pixels, something like that. That's okay. So let me start moving some of these styles over into the CSS so I don't lose it. And then you can see a little bit of the progress. Because I also, something happened there with the, welcome page top. And then here, I think I may have lost the connection to this thing right here, to the welcome, to sorry about that. Let me just paste this code right here. And then if I save it, this will refresh again, and now we should be able to see it a little better. Okay, there you go. So it's taking a little bit of shape. Now let's continue adding some stuff. So welcome page top, why don't we finish that piece? Inside of welcome page top, I have then the logo, already said it, then the logo might be we probably have to adjust the width in there, make it a little I'll say width 100 pixels. Nah, I think I'll probably say 120. And then for example, I'll do a margin bottom, margin bottom 20 pixels, so that it pushes the stuff in there. But you see that I say that this is the container. It's actually the image that I actually want to make a change. So in here, I think you've seen me do already max width 100%. That's exactly what I wanted to do. The parent container will dictate then what the size of the image is. The image then doesn't have a specific dimension. That's why I called it max width 100%. That's one of those things that allow your images to be responsive. And then they adapt to the parent container that is hosting them. So that's how you do it. So you see, this one I called it 120. That's okay. I added some margin bottom 20 pixels, but then the image inside I made it max width 100%. So it behaves responsibly depending on the size of the parent. That's okay. So for the title, I think I want to add a color to it. So I'll probably do I'll do font size to EM, a little bit big. And then I think I probably want a margin in there. So I'll do margin bottom. It's 20 pixels, okay? I think I can add other things to that, but for example, at least right now, all I want to do is add probably a little bit of the color that we have in our application. So I'll do color green for now, so that it reminds me that I have to change the color in there to one specific color that I want to add. But let's try it in a minute. Then the bottom piece, the subtitle, I think I want to keep it like that. All I want is just change the font size. So I'll just say color gray, like that, something like that, like a lighter color. Okay, so let's start moving some of these styles over now. This is what I want with the welcome page logo, so I'll just call it, so it's just called, I think that's what I called it, welcome page logo. And then I added this piece. Then inside, the image inside is a max width of 100%. I just typed it myself there. That's okay. Also, remember we talked about the title, so I'll do welcome page title, and then that one I applied a color of, and I think I want to use one of the colors in the, remember the style in this SCSS file, a bunch of colors that I have in there. Is this one is gonna call it, let's try the main green. And then I think I wanted to do what is it, margin bottom 20 pixels, and I think a font size 2EM. Actually, why don't I just copy this thing right here the same way? But I think I want a specific color in there. I kind of want to use actually, why don't we try it? And then, but instead I'll say main green, because I'm a little hesitant about that color. It might be a little too light, but if I do, then let me do the welcome page subtitle, and then all I'm gonna do here is just color gray, just like that. Let me save. Let's save. Main green. Sorry, main green. There you go. Okay, perfect. So. Okay, yeah, you see, okay, it's okay. I could probably, okay, I think I want to change that color. I think I probably want to add an additional one. Let's find one. I think I want to grab let me create one, and then I'll use that maybe for other things. But for now, we can keep it like that if you guys want. I think I see it a little bit darker in here. That's what it is. So I want to grab this color. Yeah, exactly. And then because I'm going to be using it in another color, I think is in this batch right here, I'm actually going to create one here in my colors, and I'm going to use that one. So I'll go to styles, colors, and then I'll call this badge, because that's like a badge right here. Remember, I'm going to be doing this badge later. So I'm going to call it badge green. And I like that semi-dark green. So I'll do this, and then I'll reuse the same color in here. Instead of being the main green, I'll call it badge green. Let's save. Okay, I'm looking at my design here. Okay, that looks much better. Now what we want to do is actually create this button right here. If you notice, this button has a little bit of a different style. It has a little bit of a shadow, like a glowing maybe. It has that border radius, top left and bottom right. And I want to make this button, if you've seen it a couple of times already, I want to make it kind of like one of the buttons globally available in the application. So for this, I'm gonna move this style over to the styles, like the topmost styles in the application, so I can share it in other pages, right? So let's do that. So first, let's create it for this page, and then we'll move it out so that other pages can share it. So after I save this guy, let's take a look again. I'm taking a look at my design, so we're gonna be implementing that piece right there. So why don't we proceed? So one of the things that I wanna do is just, again, remember, it's just like a button. If you see, it's just a button. But now let's go to the, for example, like if I go to here, to my developer tools, perfect, everything's looking good over there. Just wanted to make sure. So let's start with this. So let's start by saying, for example, like, you know, the button itself, let's say like border none. We don't want any borders. Perfect. Let's say we want like padding. So like do like padding 20 pixels. That's okay. Now maybe we can even start with the border radius. So I'll do border radius. And I think I've been using, even for the images, I'm using like 30 pixels. So I'll probably do like 30 pixels, 0 pixels, meaning this is top, right, bottom, left. So it's gonna apply it to the top, to the right, to the bottom, and not to the left. Only to the top and to the right, meaning top left, bottom right. If I do that, then you see it. As a background, I kind of want to use maybe one of the same, okay, which is the green that I probably want to use. If I grab this guy and then I see the green, it's like this guy right here, 54B. Do I have it already as part of my colors in here? So there you go. Oh, the main green, perfect. That's it. So I'm going to be using the main green. So let me grab this guy. In my design, I make sure that I keep like the same a palette of colors. I don't want to use like multiple colors. I kind of want to use like either like a color palette for the whole application, and then I use like some complementary colors as well. Either maybe some variations of the same color to kind of make it not so monotone, and then that's the reason why I think I use that same color. So check this out. So I'll just use background of that color. Perfect. Of course, I'm assuming that the color will be white, and then we do that. Okay, by default buttons like don't inherit like the let's say the font family of the body, so you have to apply it to themselves. So in this case, I'll say font family, and what's the one that we're using? We're using Railway, so I'll use Railway. Sorry, Railway. There you go. And I see now it looks a little better. Now let's increase the font size. I'll probably do like font size 1.20. Let's do 2. No, that's too big. 1.5. A little less, 1.25. Okay, that's okay. We can probably go with that. Okay. Now then I want to do like a shadow. So I'll do like box. I'll do like box shadow. And then as always I do box shadow and then 0, 0, 20. Yeah, I kind of like to go with that, like a nice blur radius, and then RGBA. You know, I kind of want to do this color and then lower the opacity to like 50%. So in that way I could do like let me see, point. So now when he does this, and then instead of doing hex, I'll switch it to this, and then I'll probably make this like 0.6, like that. I kind of like that glowing. Let's stick with that. So you see, very easily I just made the same component right here, the same button. I did it in HTML and just plain HTML and CSS, and now it looks exactly like my design. That's kind of like how I want to keep it consistent with my design, making sure that I stay true to the design, so I don't deviate or anything. Because, you know, let's say if your designer provides you with a design like that, you try to strive to what they provided and make sure that you do achieve what the end goal is, which is making like really cool user interfaces, just using basic CSS3, JavaScript, HTML5, and make sure that you stay true to the design. So in this case, you see I created it just like that, and now it's time for me to port over those things. So I can call this component, like again, like I said, I want to add it to like the topmost this like SCSS file, which is this guy, the styles.css, and then here I'm going to create something called like main button, like that. And then main button is going to have like all those styles. So let's just copy those guys over. Let me paste that, and then instead of this, remember I want to do main green. Do I have the colors imported? No. Let's import those. So I'll do import, and then you go assets, styles, colors, and then now I'm able to access that. So you see, like, it's taking really cool shape. I like the way that it's coming out. Now, I think we do have this. Let me see, anything else? I think we should be good. Let's save it all because I don't want to lose the good work that I did there. There you go. I haven't applied the class. That's exactly why. So I hope you guys were paying attention. So all I have to do here is just say class main button. I like that. So let's save that. Perfect. You guys were like, whoa, you lost all the work. No, I just had it applied. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. So you see how easy it was. You create like your own cool styles, your own cool components. You don't have, I mean, again, I keep emphasizing you can use your own libraries, you can import libraries, but if you could do stuff like that, it's just a few lines of code, and that with a minimal amount of effort, then it's worth it because you're proud of that. There's something that you can even create yourself and even reuse with the rest of the world. Something pretty cool. And then you even create like your own library. You know, how cool is that? So, okay, let's continue with the rest of the code that we're going to implement in this application. So let's say in my welcome page, remember, like this button, when I click on this button, what I want to do is log in. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a click event, and I'm going to have an event called login. This one then will perform that, you know, it will perform the login for us. Perfect, that's it. So let's keep it like this because we're gonna have to do, remember, we have to integrate Firebase, we have to integrate a bunch of other things just to make sure that we have that. Yeah, we don't have the method, so let's come over here and then just say login. So what are we gonna do here? Here we're gonna say login using Google. How? This is then the time in which we're gonna be bringing Firebase and the Angular Fire and Firebase. So let me show you how that works out. So the package that remember that we're using, that I've used in other projects, is actually this one, the Angular Fire. So you see, if you don't need a package, then you don't bring it. But in this particular case, I do need some of these libraries and packages. Angular Fire, sorry, it's Angular Fire. So Angular Fire, then you go at Angular Fire, is this package that then simplifies, it's kind of like wraps all the Firebase functionality and brings it makes it available for Angular applications. You just import this package, and then you can use Google Cloud Firestore. You can use real-time database. You can use authentication. You can use a bunch of things. PubSub, cloud storage, I believe. Look, there's a bunch of other things that you can do. Google Analytics, it's a bunch of things. And the cool thing is that it's observable based. Very simple. It allows for dependency injection. It has the best of all of both worlds. You know, being Angular and using being Angular friendly, and also being backed by Firestore. And like so many things that you can do in here. What are we going to implement here? We're going to be implementing the authentication. So if you see the authentication here, the authentication part, that's exactly what we're going to be doing. So authenticate users, getting started with Firebase authentication. You can take a look at this on your own, but what I'm going to be doing here right now is immediately take you right into Firebase authentication, how to integrate that into this application. I actually have in my GitHub repo one project where I actually implemented that. Let me show you, like in my repositories, there's one of these like PWAs that I created that actually has Firebase OAuth. There you go. So you can actually take a look at this GitHub repo called PWA Angular Firebase OAuth. And then you can actually do that. So if you see PWA Firebase OAuth, this component right here, this project actually implements that. And what is it that I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be creating a service called logging service that actually wraps the functionality of the Angular Fire authentication. It makes it so easy for you to do. So that's exactly what we're going to be implementing here. Of course, the first thing that you need to do is import, first create your Firebase project. And second, you have to install then the Angular Fire dependencies and Firebase inside your Angular application. Let me show you how to do that. So the first thing, of course, you need to have the Firebase Console. And since I'm your friend, I already did that. So let me show you, because it may take you a little bit longer. So if you go to the console in Firebase, again, you create that project. I already created the project, but it's very simple. So how do you start doing that? You create a project, you click add project, you say, oh, what's the name of your project? My name will be Torsi auth, for example, let's say. You say continue. You say, no, I don't want to enable Google Analytics. That's okay. And then immediately when you say create project, it just creates the project for you. As easy as that. Then once your project is created, let's say in this particular case, it's already created for us. You can come over here on the left-hand side of the Firebase Console. You can get familiar with the Firebase Console, but it's so many things, so many rich features that Firebase brings to your applications, especially like your Angular PWAs, that you like, and then completely free. I'm in the free Spark tier, like the free tier. It's amazing the things that you can do in the free tier, like you can't even imagine. So let's go to the authentication tab on the left-hand side. And then you see here, like you say like users, these are kind of like the users that have been logging into my application. And then this is the sign-in method. Sign-in method is then, those are the sign-in providers or third-party sign-in providers that you can add to Firebase that will allow you your users to use those providers to log into your application without you having to do additional code, only just bringing the Firebase SDK into your Angular. So let's say if you want to enable like email and password and you want to handle particular emails and passwords, you can do that. Myself, I added Google and I just clicked in here and then I just enabled it like that. You just toggle that and then that's it. Your Firebase, you created a Firebase project, you've already enabled authentication, and now your users with a Google account can log in into your application. And now you can consume like those user credential information that Firebase can share with you from that Google account that you can use, like the name, the picture, the email and stuff like that, but not like very personal stuff. So it's very safe and very secure. So if you can see, that's it. You just enable it. That's all. For me, it's already enabled. That's all you have to do. Now, in your project, all you have to come and do is just come over here, go to the project settings, and here where it says config, you're gonna add this into your project. Let's go to Angular, and then I'll show you how to do that. First of all, let me save this, of course, and then so that it doesn't bark anymore. Let me get rid of this guy and stop it. So I'm gonna install the missing dependencies for using Firebase within an Angular PWA. Very simple. So this is how you do it. So you do npm install add Angular/fire. That's the Angular Firebase SDK available, like the whole library available for Angular applications. And then you have to, then you import the Firebase package as well, because Angular Fire is just that Angular implementation on top of Firebase, but you also need Firebase underneath it to power and to feed that Angular wrappers and stuff that they created for us. People like Google, thank you. So here you go, and then you just do that, and then you just install it. So once we install that, it gets installed into your project, and then it gives you a bunch of references and a bunch of modules that you're gonna import. And then with very little configuration, then immediately you can start using your application. I'm going to show you how to do that now. So after this completes, let's make sure that it's in the package.json. So if you here, you see Firebase, and then you see the Firebase Angular Fire. There you go. You're all set. So after that, then you can come here to your environments. They even say here how to do it. So, copy paste this into, either you could do it into the body tag, but before use any Fire services, the way that I do it is I copy this whole Firebase config object into the environment file, both environment files of your Angular project. So this is how you do it. So copy that. You come here to the environments, and then you paste that object right there. Firebase config. This is how you do it. You copy the same object. Actually, make it like a like a JSON object like that. There you go. Then you copy this Firebase configuration, and then you paste it in here as well. So again, this Firebase configuration, this is the glue that binds then your project to the Firebase project in the cloud. So then you can connect to the Firebase Cloud Firestore, that you can use the Firebase Authentication. You can use the cloud, the cloud storage and all that. And there's a bunch of other features in your Firebase account, in your Firebase console, that you can tap into from your Angular application by just pasting this Firebase configuration. Now, how do you start bringing some of those modules, the ones that we're going to be using? Very simple. So let me save all. Still, it's not ready to be used. But now you go here to the Angular app, to the app.module, which is the Angular main module. So the way that you do it is in the module, now you're ready to import some of those applications that you're actually, some of those modules that you actually need. For example, you come all the way over here and then you say import Angular Fire module. So I'm sorry, let me type it correctly. So I do Angular Fire module. And then the Angular Fire module is available in the, remember, in the Angular/Fire. So this is, again, the Fire module. There are other modules, for example, like there's a couple of other modules that you use. For example, like the Fire Storage module, I believe. There's another one for like not for the authentication, because the authentication comes out of the Fire module. But there are other modules that you can import that you can use for tapping into the Firestore. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I meant. Like some of the Firestore, Cloud Firestore modules that you can bring in here. But this is enough for you to bring the authentication piece. Also, now all I have to do is just import it in my modules. So that's exactly what I'm going to say here. I'll say Angular Fire module dot initialize app, and then this initialize app method is what Angular Fire module needs to then bootstrap the Angular Fire, the module, actually the Angular module that then will actually perform the connection to kind of like do the binding to your Firebase Console project in the cloud. How do you feed, what do you do that then to bootstrap? What do you do to call this guy? Exactly the configuration that we did in the environment. So this is exactly what we're going to say. Environment dot Firebase config, and then that's it. Sorry about that. So, and then you go see, you just say Angular Fire module dot initialize app, and then you pass the configuration that we just pasted in the environment files right here. So it's going to be using the corresponding one whether you're in production or development, and then this whole Firebase config object will be injected into that method called initialize app here, like in the app module, initialize app, and then you're all set. Perfect. Now that the configuration is done, remember we just installed it. I created the project back in Firebase. So this is the project, this is authentication, and I created already like one app for you. So I think this is the only piece that was missing. So if you click like here, one app, and then you create like a web app. After creating the Firebase, then you create like an app. So I just clicked here where it says web, and then it says like add Firebase to your web app. I called my web app, I think it was Torsi web app, and then I set up the hosting. So that's why now you see here where it says like one app, and there's that app. Let me show you a little bit of the settings in there. So it just creates that for you. See that? Remember, that's where I got the configuration file from. That's what I wanted to show you, the missing piece that we were doing. So you can add apps to your project. So in this project, we added a web app. Then that web app had that configuration. That configuration goes into your Angular project, and then that's how it connects it. So you see, you have like a nickname. You know, this is the configuration again that it generates and whatnot. You can even come over here and add another app. You can add like let's say you want to create Torsi, like you want to create a specific iOS and Android, or like a Unity, like there, like a like a Unity project. You can add multiple apps under the same project, which is pretty cool. So that's exactly what we're gonna, I just wanted to recap for you here. Like kind of like that is the glue that binds them. And then the Angular Fire module with that configuration that we just passed in here, remember coming from the environments, it will connect to this application, it will tap into the authentication piece that is in here, then it will record, let's say all the users that log in using Firebase, like then it will just show like a pop-up. This pop-up then it will show you like the Google authentication. You put your username and password because this is like the sign-in provider is Google, and then Google will pass the credentials to Firebase. Firebase, Firebase is kind of like being the proxy between you and Google, and then it performs that authentication on our behalf. So it's pretty cool. So let's go back to the project, and then now let's start kind of like bringing some of those elements in there. Remember that Angular Fire module is the whole module, but now we need to access the authentication. How do I do that? Remember, I mentioned that I have one project in here in my GitHub repo, where I actually wrapped around the Angular Firebase authentication. So I wrapped it around a very convenient service, and I called it just login service. So I'm gonna be copying just exactly the same thing right here. is going to be really simple. So I'm just going to copy exactly this class, and then I'm going to explain what it does. So this is just a service that I'm creating within Angular that wraps that implementation. I can maybe swap it by another type of like implementation provider. I can add multiple providers. I can even log in with another component or another that is not Firebase or anything like that, but I wouldn't, because again, this is so easy. But I'm trying to at least keep it encapsulated within that service. So let's go. So here what I'm gonna do is where am I? So I should go to the source app, and then services. Here I'm gonna create a service. I'll say ng generate service, and I'm gonna call it login. So it's gonna call it login service. So let's do that, and then there's just my login service. Boom, is already created. Now let's go to the services, and then inside of that login service, I'm gonna paste the code from my GitHub repo, and then I'm gonna show you exactly what it means, because I'm already using that, you see. So this is just a regular injectable service. It's gonna have one behavior subject. This behavior subject will actually hold kind of maintain state of what is the user that is currently logged in, and then I'm gonna use it right here like that. So it's very cool. Also, one of the things that I'm gonna be importing, of course, is import. I'm gonna be using Angular FireAuth like that, and then I'm gonna say just from Angular. I'm just looking at my repo because I'm just gonna do exactly the same thing. So I'm gonna say Angular FireAuth. So it's coming from there. So the Angular FireAuth is that that class, that service that actually is inside Angular Fire module, and then is tapping into that into the authentication piece of my Firebase project that I created. And then it provides a bunch of cool methods for like logging in with Google, logging in with signing in with Google with a pop-up, signing in with Facebook, Twitter, and all of those providers. In my particular case, I'm only doing Google, and then I'm gonna explain those pieces right there. So a couple other things that I'm going to import also is just I'm gonna say, for example, like in my particular case, one of the things that I want to import is this. So I'm gonna say import Firebase from Firebase app, and I'm gonna show you what is it that I mean and why exactly I need it. The behavior subject is going to hold a user. The user is actually a Firebase term. The user is actually the information about the user that is logging in. It has the display name, it has the photo URL, it has the email, and it has a bunch of metadata concerning the user that is just logging in. So that's why I want to store it here globally inside of the accessible via the service, so maybe other components who are interested in listening to that or consuming the information about the logged in user will be able to do so via this service. So I'm going to keep it like that. I'm going to say user. Actually, it's actually coming from Firebase.user like that. If you even take a look at that interface, see, it extends Firebase user info. And then that guy right here, it has like a bunch of cool stuff. If you go to the Firebase user info, this is what I meant. Remember, it has the display name, email, phone number, photo URL, provider ID, blah, 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 and UID, which is key. UID is like the unique identifier for that user info. So perfect. So again, I'm gonna need a router, of course, because I'm gonna be redirecting. Once I log in, then I wanna redirect to the profile. That's exactly what I wanna do. So let me import it right away. And then of course, I'm gonna create a method called login with Google. Because then later on, I'll probably wanna say login with Facebook or login with Twitter or whatever other like third-party provider or like social media account. And then I can do it like that. Explicitly, I just wanted to say, let's log in with Google. So I'm gonna have an observable, meaning I want to subscribe to that. I'm gonna perform the login in an asynchronous fashion. Once Firebase performs the login and then can notify me, it will just let me know because I'm gonna be subscribed to that because I have an observable. So let me continue importing some of these guys. And now we got to the meat of the piece right here, the meat of the code. So here where we say like auth, see we're going to be saying like Google provider, but now Firebase did an update to their library. Instead of saying OAuth, just Google OAuth provider, it's actually Firebase.auth Google OAuth provider, just like that. So this particular one, then I don't need to import it because actually I need it just so that I could use like the some of those. I think I may not need it because of the credentials either. So I'm going to say Firebase OAuth. Here, for example, like the Angular Fire OAuth, if you do immediately like auth like that, you see, and then here you could do like, this OAuth is the one that provides the pop-up, but the ones that provide the types is actually the Firebase library that I'm importing right here. So the OAuth, the Angular Fire OAuth is the one that provides the pop-ups. Check this out. So you could do sign in with email and password like you saw before, sign in with a custom token, sign in with credentials, signing anonymously. There's a bunch of those things. What I want to do is signing in with a pop-up. So it will provide a pop-up. Then Firebase then provides like some of those types that we need, like the Google OAuth provider, because then not only Google OAuth provider, remember we have other providers, Facebook OAuth provider, Twitter OAuth provider, multi-factor OAuth provider, phone multi-factor, email OAuth provider, and so on and so forth. So that's exactly why we needed to import that Firebase package, because it provides those other things. Perfect. So here I just want to rectify this piece because the Firebase team, they already updated this, and then now you can actually get it off of that instead of like off of the OAuth like that. Because if you do here like this dot OAuth dot, you don't get like user credential like that. So you can do you get it off of the Firebase because it's like a type. So if you do here, for example, like this dot OAuth dot, like that. Well, actually, sorry. Let me do it here. For example, if I do this dot OAuth dot, you see like Google. See, it's not there. So there you go. So now, let's continue. So see what we're doing. So we are returning an observable. We are creating. Actually, here let me continue the Firebase user, and then here for some reason it doesn't want to accept null. In this particular case, if you don't want to hold that particular type, you can even say any. And then that way, because I'm using a behavior subject, and remember, if you guys remember from the previous episodes, a behavior subject actually requires an initial value, because what it will do is actually it will broadcast what the current value is for any newly subscribed clients, any newly subscribed components or parties. It will actually broadcast it to them if they just subscribe. So that's exactly why I wanted a behavior subject. To actually have like an initial value. I can change it to a subject, but then what I mean is that if anybody else like subscribes afterwards, it won't receive like that value. It will have to wait until the next broadcast, pretty much. So let's just keep it like that, very simple. And let's recap again. When I click on the login, like here, when we click on login with Google, we will expose this method from this login service. The user will be provided with a pop-up, provided by the this.oauth sign in with pop-up. And then here we say, okay, but sign in with a pop-up, which provider? The Google OAuth provider. Now, when you come back and then you bring me the credentials, just give me the user out of that response. Like then Firebase is gonna send me through that response, is gonna send me a bunch of information within that information, there will be the user. The user is actually type firebase.user, and that's exactly what I'm gonna be consuming on the other end, so I can display the image, display name, and some other stuff. And then that's it. Once I'm done, I'll just complete, and then that's it. And then if I perform like a logout, then what I'll do is just like navigate them to the let's say back again to the welcome page. Like let's say, oh, if you want to log out, perform the logout, and then just take them to the welcome. And check this out. See, the OAuth, the Angular Fire OAuth, also provides a sign out capability, because not only you can sign in, but you should also emphasize signing out, because you need to clean up resources like on the server side of things, on the Firebase side of things, so that you can mark the user being truly signed out, and then you can like your application is not on a weird state or anything like that. So let's just keep it like that. And then I just created a method called like get logged in user. Now anybody who's interested in getting the information about that, the user that just logged in, can just call get logged in user as an observable, subscribe to it, and then they will get the information. Anywhere you are, you want to get information about the user, you can just pull it out of there. And then that's it. See, I just created that service. Pretty cool. Now, where do I consume it? Now let's go back to the welcome page. So let's go back to the welcome. In that my welcome page, here we are. And then remember, we have this button, click, login, blah, blah, blah. It's pretty cool. So we just have that information. All we have to do is now when the user executes this method, which is right here in the code behind of the welcome, all we're gonna do is just now, of course, first of all, we need to private import the login service, which we just created. So this is just login service. That's one of the services. Remember, from here, we'll redirect them to the profile. So I need the router. So let's do private router. And then that's it. For now, I think we should be good. And then the login, when we say login with Google, this is what we will do. This login service login with Google. Very simple. You see, that's exactly, that's again what I keep emphasizing. You create the services to move all that business logic away from the components, so that the components don't have like a lot of business logic in them. The component is only its sole responsibility should be just update the UI, update the markup and whatnot with properties and stuff like that, binding, perform the data bindings, but not have any business logic. That's why you create services for that. So in this case, I say login with Google. Now I'll subscribe because I actually want to say, let me know when you're done, because I want you to perform it asynchronously. And then when you come back, yeah, cool. I don't need to know anything else other than that you actually logged in. And then all I'm gonna say is just redirect to the profile page. So right here, I'm just gonna say router.navigate, and then I'll use the same nomenclature for passing like the route. And then all I'm gonna say is save profile, and then that's it. By that time, I've already captured that user information. I don't need to receive it via this and then pass it via the route. It's already in that observable called get logged in user, like the auth user from the login service. So I can consume that in the other page, which makes it very simple. I don't have to be passing crazy stuff through the routes. So I just make sure that I log in. All that information I persisted in my state in that login service. So I persisted in that behavior subject. So it's kind of like maintaining my own little state, like a little bit of state management, saving that authenticated user. And then when I'm in the profile page, I'll just read it off of there. And then that's it. So let's save this. And then let's see, let's cross our fingers. Let's hope this works. At least it will do like the redirection at least. Let's take a look. So let's just npm start on this. We've done a lot of coding, so I think it's enough that we do some inventory, and we have again a ton more work to go through. So we've already done quite a while, but I want to at least get this done and get a couple other things going for you guys. Let's start from the beginning. Actually, let's go ahead. I believe I saved all. We did a lot of coding, seriously. Okay, so now let's continue. Welcome to Torsi. Login with Google. Boom. There you go. You get like all your accounts, and then I'll pick like the top one. Let's say I'm gonna continue using my own account. So if I click there, it should redirect me, and there you go. Boom, done. It was very seamless, very easy to do, and there you go. We don't have any logout yet. We could probably just implement it right here where it says logout. I can even come over here and look in my components, nav components, here in the nav content on logout. There you go. I already had it right here. So why don't I just implement it right here, right away? So I do private login service, right? And then all I have to do here in this logout method, which I had created a couple of episodes ago, please make sure to watch those previous videos. All I'm gonna do here is just look how cool. Login service.logout, and then that's it. Done. It will redirect me to the welcome page without me telling anything. I just say, oh, I'm in the profile, but if you're anywhere in the page and you log out, it will take you out. And actually what we could even do later is like hide this thing if you're not logged in, because there's no reason to have the logout if you're not logged in. But just so that you see that I'm hooking up like those methods that I created in the login, then we can do that here. Well, actually, why don't we do it right now? If there is an OAuth user, I will just hide this guy. It will be pretty simple. So check this out. I can say logout, and then it takes me back to the welcome page. But I don't. We need to first let's create the profile page so that you can see that we actually do have the authenticated user, so that we can consume the image, we can consume the name, and all that. Why don't we do that? So going back to the service so that you can take a look at it. Remember, when we perform the login, we store the information about the user that just logged in via this OAuth user. It gets exposed if you call this method in any other component, and if you say get logged in user and then you subscribe to it, you will get this OAuth user as an observable, and then you can consume it. So check this out. Let's go now to the profile page. So the profile page will be like a very simple page. Is also one of the pages that had already been created a while back for us, but I didn't have anything in there. So let's start with the same structure. Remember right here, it looks very plain. Actually, if we do it right now, look, log in with Google. See, this is the pop-up that I mentioned. I click on the on any account, and there you go. Right now, you don't show any information, but you see how plain profile page works. You know, very plain. So why don't we start creating like a div class? Let's call it profile dash page, and I'm gonna leverage that app page class. Same thing as the welcome page. I'm gonna have like two sections, like a top piece and then a bottom piece. The bottom piece then will have like a couple of buttons, but I can just make it so that the top page is the one just like before, takes the most of the space in the page, and then stretches all the other siblings, let's say, to the bottom. So I'll do the same thing. I'll call it like div class profile. It's the same thing. Profile page top. No shame in that. And then I have my top piece. I'm gonna have then the same thing, two buttons below. One button then will be the, you know, go to main page. Let me take a look at the design again. Let me make sure again that we're staying true. It will say go to main page. There you go. Okay, cool. I think I could actually add another button in here so that from here you could actually do like the logout from the profile. You could also click here and go to the, yeah, we could try to do that. But see, we're gonna be using this also to leverage that same auth user, like get logged in user information, like by subscribing to the get logged in user in the service and then getting the information about the logged in user, because you can access it from anywhere, because we're keeping that state within that service, and then since the service can be injected anywhere, you can consume it anywhere. Let me just move this other page out of the way. So we're gonna have a button called like go to page, a main page button, and then we're gonna have another one saying like, for example, like log out, you know, log out of Torsi. Perfect, something like that. This one then will have like a click event. This one will have something called like go to main, and then this is the one that will redirect to that, you know, top rated attractions. And this one will do the same thing that we did on the side panel, which will just log out. So this one will have a click event that will just say log out, just like that. So I need a method called go to main and log out in here. So actually I need to do the encapsulation, view encapsulation.none. I need to have my go to main method and one logout method. Perfect. So there you go. Now if I go back to here, you see that I have my two buttons. Remember, I'm going to be leveraging the same button style that I created for the welcome page. I'm going to be leveraging this guy. Cool. So all I have to do is just say class, see how cool, main button, and then that's it. This one will also be the main button, and then probably I'll just tweak it a little bit. The profile top, then what we will do here is it's gonna have like a, okay, if we look at the design, we need the picture, we need like a circle, we need this little icon, and this circle out here, the outer circle, is gonna have like a little bit of glowing going on. It's gonna have the name and preferred attractions, and then like a badge in here with the number of preferred attractions. That's something that we can also pull from the service, like from the favorite service. So let's start creating the structure for this. So the same thing, I'll create a profile, profile page photo, and then here I'll just have, for example, like have one image that will represent that authenticated user, and the image, like the profile image, let's say from your Google account, and then I'm just gonna call this photo image. I need to, of course, feed the source right now. Right now I'm gonna need the image class, and then here I'm gonna say like logo image. Here is the one I'm gonna be using the same image like that I've been using for like a few other places, for example, like for the map and stuff for this guy. So it's the same, the Torsi green image. So I'm gonna use that same one out of the assets. I think it's assets, icons, icon Torsi green, that SVG. So I'm cool there. That's it. Right below the photo, then I need the name. So I need another div with a, I'll call this like profile, let's call like profile page name. Here I will display the name of the user. I'm gonna need another one for the, let's say the label that says like preferred attractions, whatever. I think it's called like that. It says like preferred attractions. So it's like a label called like, so let's just call it label. And then I'm just gonna label. And then I'm just gonna hard code it, and I'm gonna say preferred attractions. I'm gonna have then another container called like this is the one that is gonna be holding that little badge, like a little circle with a number of attractions. So the number of favorited attractions by you. So if you favorite like 3 or 4, you know like what your favorite attractions are in your profile page. Faves count like that. And then for now I'll just do the 20 just so that it looks just like that. Perfect. So let's save this. Remember, we just created the structure. Now we need to bring in like the information about the authenticated user and whatnot, which we don't have. It just looks like that. It looks like crap. So now why don't we add then a couple of the styles for this? What do you want to do? You want to bring the authenticated user right now? Let's go ahead. So let's do that so that so that we can, you know, get that out of the way, and then we can even display the information. So check this out. So the things that we need to import, of course, is the actually I want to start bringing the login service, of course. So I'm gonna say private. I'm gonna actually display it here. So I'm gonna say private login service. A login service. Remember, because that's where I'm gonna be extracting the authenticated user. I'm gonna be from here. I'm gonna be redirecting to the main app. I'm gonna log out. So I need the router. So I need just the router. Perfect. Let's just keep it like that. And then now what we could do is then okay, so now I need to bring in the authenticated user. So I need to create like a property called like auth user, and then that one, for example, like auth user, it will be the same auth user that is in the login service. So I'm gonna make it a type of observable, type firebase.user. I need to bring, of course, the observable library, and I need to bring Firebase. So I'll probably do the same thing that I was doing before. Import Firebase from Firebase/app. And then that way I can bring that type, which is what I needed. Perfect. So now what do? Remember, I've already logged in. I'm in the profile page. Now, because the service stored the authenticated user in this behavior subject that I can access by calling get logged in user, that's exactly what we're going to do. And because this guy actually brings it as an observable, I'm going to be using the async keyword to unwrap the observable. So do this. This.auth user, this.login service, dot get logged in user. That's it. This.auth user has the information about the authenticated user. I'll be able to tap into the image, name, email, blah, blah, blah. I can even do the go to main right away here, because I know exactly what I'm going to be doing. So when I click on the go to main button, this is going to say this.router that navigate, and then I'm going to go to this page. Remember, the one that's called main.attractions, and then I'm going to pass attractions, and then you need to pass like a parameter to that route called top rated. This will take you straight to that page, and it will even highlight the tab and all that. That's how cool it is. The logout, of course, will do exactly the same thing from the login service. So I'll say login service dot logout, and then that's it. At least the backend in here is pretty much done. I'm gonna save this. I call it the backend, but I meant like the code behind, or like the TypeScript of the component. There you go. So we're still there. That's okay. Now let's actually log in and see if it actually shows some of this stuff. Look, so the photo image, I'm gonna be feeding it off of the auth user. Remember the property. So the property is called auth user. So the application is this guy is called auth user, and then because this is an observable of type Firebase user, this auth user, I can use the async keyword to actually unwrap the observable, and then from there tap into the properties that I need to use to get from that user. So what are the properties? This one. So I'm gonna say auth user, and then I'm gonna use the async keyword, and then I can use like this the question mark to actually make sure that whether it's null or not. If it's null, make sure that actually if it's not null, actually go access those properties, because if it's still null, I haven't received it, it will just blow up in your markup. So this is a safe way to do like nullable properties. So I'll say like auth user async, and then all I do from here is just say photo URL. That's one of the properties that I want to extract out of that out of the user, out of the auth user, which is very convenient. So I'll use this pretty much the same syntax to pull all the other information. For example, like the name of the user will be here, and then instead of photo URL, it's actually display name, like that. So those are the only two properties that I need right now. to pull from the user, photo URL and display name. And you see that I'm using the async keyword to actually unwrap the observable that has the value inside. Let's save and let's do it again. So I'll do save all. Okay, perfect. And then now I'll just log out. Perfect, there you go. And then when I say login with Google, let me actually, give me 1 second. Because I'm trying to, okay, let's try it again. I'll log in with my account, romanjustcodes. And then there you go, boom, there's my image. Sweet, perfect. So you see how cool it was? I performed the login, I redirected to the other page, and then in the other page, I was able to retrieve that information that I captured when the login got performed. So I'm storing it in that behavior subject, kind of like maintaining it as a state for my application, and then making it available throughout the application via that service. That's why I created that service. I wrapped all that implementation around it. I created that service around that Angular Fire auth so that I can actually use it everywhere. So now while we're here, now let's start adding some of the styles that are required to make this like pretty cool. So why don't we do that? So while we're there you go. Now let's start defining some of the pieces in there. For example, I'm going to start with the profile page. And then of course I keep doing the same thing. The whole profile page I want to do like display flex. And then I also use the flex direction column. Let me save this and then let me start taking a look at it. But again, I'm going to take you to the developer tools and then do it there again. So let me come over here, developer tools, and then go back to the profile page. Here we are, profile page. Then I have display flex direction column. I want to add a padding of 30 pixels. The app page should, like, there you go, like that. And then remember, the profile page top is going to take like most of the majority of the space in this profile page content. So remember, the way to do that is just saying flex 1. By saying flex 1, this one takes like the majority of the space. If you have like a couple of components fighting for space, like they want to have you want their space distributed equally between the two, then both of them should be flex 1. And then they're competing for space. Let's say I'm flex 1, I'm kind of like priority 1, but both are let's say flex 1, they get exactly the same space within that. In this particular case, if I want this to take most of the space and just push all the children, whether above or below, I just say flex 1, and then to the other ones, I don't do anything. So you see, by saying flex 1, takes the most of the space, pushes all the other guys below, and then that's it. What do we do then within this container? Within this container, we do also some more flexing. So we do also display flex, also say flex direction column, just like the way we did it in the welcome page. And then, for example, I just do justify content center, align item center, same way that we did. And there you go, like that. I'm gonna do exactly the same thing. I'm not gonna do, it's like pretty much the same thing that we did like with the logo and all that. So the logo image, which is, so this is the profile. Okay, this guy, which actually forgot to do like one thing in here. So I'm just gonna say that one, actually, let me show you how it's gonna be. I want it to be like that width, and it's gonna be like in a corner, but on top of the image, right? That's exactly what we want to do. So let's start by adding some styles to the image itself. So this profile page photo, which is actually the wrapper of the whole photo, why I created a container in there, because inside that container I'm gonna have the image and that little badge. I created a container that will contain these two things. So that's why I created a wrapper div called profile page photo, which will contain both of those things. And then that guy will have to make this component, this container should be position relative, so that this guy then can position itself absolute, but relative to the parent. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do now. Let me show you. So right here, then in the profile page photo, remember I have to say position relative, this is position relative, and then I'm gonna push like the content below like by 30 pixels. So I'm gonna say margin bottom 30 pixels. There you go, like that, something like that. Perfect. Now the photo image, which is the image of the user, I want to add like maybe some dimension to that, because remember, because I just did that, I didn't give it any dimensions. I need to actually because I saved it, I think I lost it. Okay, perfect. Let's do this. Let me add a couple of these other styles in there, and then let me continue, because I think since I didn't get the picture, I lost it because I logged in. So let me add some of these guys that I was missing in here. So after I do that, the flex duration column, I do like the padding of 30 pixels. Then I added like the profile page top. This is what I think I had on the profile page top. So perfect. So this is kind of how I do it. I do it in real time using the Chrome developer tools, and then I start migrating some of those guys in there. So I think I already know what I'm gonna do with some of those guys, so let me just do it right here. I'll call it profile page photo, and then remember that that photo is gonna be like position relative, because some of the items in there, the little badge, will be position absolute but relative to the parent. So then I set that to the profile page photo. I'm gonna add like a margin bottom of 30 pixels. That's okay. Now inside of there, I have two things: photo image, and then I should have made this one the logo image, which is then that guy, that image, the little palm tree, is actually going to be much smaller. So here, there you go. See, it's logo image. I think I should have made like a save all, so that I should have gotten that piece. So the photo image, because I'm gonna when I get it right there, I'm gonna add like that let's say border radius of 50%. When you say 50%, it actually makes a full round circle around that, because what it's gonna say is make 50% radius on all corners, but make it all around. So by doing that, it makes it like a full circle. This is a pretty neat trick. So the photo image, the image of the authenticated user, will be a full circle, and then I'm gonna add like some borders to that. So I'm gonna say like border, I'm gonna add like a 10 pixel solid border, and then I'm gonna use like the main green color around that. And I think I do have that main green, which is that border right there. So remember, this is border radius 50%, 10 pixel border of the main green. It's a solid. And then I'm gonna use also like a shadow. You see like there's like a little bit of a glowing going on. So let's do that. So let me do the logo image, which I want to see it right away there. So remember, I'm gonna make it position. Actually, let me just save, and then let's start seeing again. I have to log in again. Remember, I need to import the colors. Import assets, styles, colors. Perfect. Let's save that. Should be able to get it. Let's go back out to the login. So let's go back. I'll say login with Google, and then I'm not gonna save until the end, so that you can actually continue seeing the changes. Okay, so far so good. Now let's continue making some of those changes that I said. So for example, like in this particular guy, like this logo image, the logo image actually is gonna be position absolute, because it's gonna be inside of that profile page photo container. Is absolute to that container. So I'm gonna make it absolute, but I'm gonna make it smaller, like 40 pixels by 40 pixels. You see where it is? I actually want it to be like in the lower corner of that circle. So for that, I have to say like push it to the bottom completely. So because it's already absolute, but the parent is relative, so it's gonna remain within the constraints of the parent. So I'm gonna say like bottom. Let's try like 30 pixels. No, maybe like 5 pixels. Maybe. Okay. And then how about the right? 30 pixels? Not too much. So if I say, for example, like right 10 pixels, maybe less. 8 pixels. That's okay. Okay. But the bottom, I think, is a little bit too high. So let's do like instead like -5. Perfect. I like that. Let's persist that. So this is gonna be the logo image style. So let's keep that logo image. Let's keep that guy right there. Perfect. I like it. Now let's continue with the shadow that I want to add to this guy. So the shadow is gonna be box shadow, and just like the other one, I did like 0 pixel, 0 pixel. That means X and Y position like right behind it, 0, 0, 0, and then if 20 pixels is like the blur radius, and then here I'm gonna use like just main green also. Perfect. If I save this right now, why don't I, while I'm here, actually yeah, why don't we continue with the other stuff? Let's say the profile page name, for example, the profile page name, I want it to be probably like 2 EMs, font size 2 EM, and then probably like the color will be, it will be probably the main green also, or like I just, what do I want to do? What color is that? I think that's black. So or like a what, like a, yeah, because I don't know what, okay, I'll just keep it black, that's fine, but I'll just make it a little bold. So I'll say like font weight 600, sorry. Perfect, I think that works. Now the bottom piece, this guy, the page label, then the page label, I kind of want the like a darker green in there. So I'll do color green, kind of like that. That's fine. Now what I want to do with this guy, the faves count is actually gonna be like if you look at the design, is gonna have like a little circle. Probably maybe I'll do like you know, margin top. Actually, it's gonna push it from this top label, and then I'll do that little circle with that in there. Then let me show you how to do it real quick. So if I select the faves count, the first thing that I'm gonna do is do like you know, width, you know, 80 pixels, height. Oops, sorry. Let's do like width 80 pixels, height 80 pixels, and then let's do like background. For now, green. Of course, I don't want that. I'll do display flex. Sorry. And then I'll do justify content center, align item center. How about like the font size? I'll probably do like font size like 2.5 EM. Let's do like the color white, of course. Color white. Yeah, I think I lost the connection again, but that's fine. So look at this. I want it to be that. Let's start saving some of these things and then come back over. So let's come over, copy that. This will be the profile page faves count. So so it's at the same level as the profile page photo. So I have the profile page, remember I have the page name, and then I said that it was font size 1.6 EM, and then the font weight of like 600, kind of like to make it bolder. Then the profile, what was it? The name, the page label, the one that says preferred attractions, page label. Instead of that green, of course, I want to say color, and then I'll use like the darker green. And then last but not least, I'll do the profile page. What did I call it? Faves count. The faves count. Let me paste the stuff that I had in here. Let me move this over. In the background, remember that I created this style over here, like the colors in the assets, styles, colors. I created this badge green. That's the reason why I created it, because I'm gonna use it right here. So going back to the profile page, instead of this green, is gonna be the $ badge green. And then I'm gonna do that badge green, and then it should be able to show appropriately. What did I say that I want to do? Like maybe do like a margin, like a top margin for that. So I'll do like a margin top. Let's say like 20 pixels. And remember, that looks like a square, but actually what I really want to do is do this. Border radius 50%, just like the way that we did with the image. And remember, we're gonna say here margin top 20 pixels, margin top 20 pixels, and then it's gonna look like that. Perfect. So I make sure that I do have those things. I'm just missing the border radius, which makes it like round, right? So let's save this, save all. Of course, I need to log in again, but it's okay. But at least you saw that I kept all those styles. I moved them over to my page. Let's start from the beginning. Of course, I need to fix some of those things again. Annoying, because it's gonna be if I go to my profile, it should be like, oh, you're not logged in. I could try that. So log in with Google. I click on my Google account. Boom, there I am. I didn't persist this because I didn't call it correctly. Profile page faves count. There you go. Perfect. So let me save all again. Let me start from the beginning. Log in with Google. I'll select my account. And there you go. Perfect. Awesome. Doesn't it look like that? I think it looks pretty similar. I probably have to like do a font weight on this guy so it's a little fatter. Like the text is a little fatter. So if I do this, and then I select this guy. I think that's probably what I'm missing. If I do font weight 600, there you go, that's what I want. So it will look pretty much like that. Supposedly there's this logout of Torsi, which I kind of want to make it like a different style of button. So let me add this real quick. And instead, again, what I want to do here, like instead of having these two buttons, I want to have like one button, like which is like the main button, and then I have like another one, kind of like a main button and inactive button. Like instead of being this, I kind of want this. Check this out. I kind of want this, like this button, not to have that. No box shadow, for example. Check this out. No box shadow. Like none. Border, for example, like I do like a border 2 pixels solid, and then I'll use like the like this guy right here instead. So if I do this, it will be that, but the border, and then the background will be white, and then the color will be that same guy, like that. I'll probably do like maybe what is it, like font weight. No, I think that's fine. And then no, just like margin top. Something like that. You see, I want this kind of like style to be like the inactive. Let's make this like active, and the other one like inactive button. Like this solid green will be the main button active, and this main button inactive, something like that. So let's create that, because I kind of wanted to make a differentiation between those two. So by coming over here to my styles again, to the main one, the styles.css. Instead of this, I'm gonna break it into like a couple. So I'm gonna keep this main button to be like the main style for all the buttons, being like a no border, like padding, border radius. Yes, I want to keep that. Not the color, but the family. Yes, the font family and the font size. No shadow. The shadow will only be, for example, like for the main button active, which will actually have like that shadow. The background will be, actually even the main one will have a background. The background will be added to the, let's say the active one will actually have the black background, the green background and the white color. And then I add, for example, like a main button inactive, which won't have, of course, it won't have a shadow, but the background will be actually, background will be white, and the color will be the main green, like that, right? Which, it will make it like really cool. So it's not background, background will be white. Sorry, I need the border. So do border. I'll make it like, again, 2 pixels solid, and then I'll do the main green. If I go to the main green and I take a look at the colors, yeah, that's the one that I want. Perfect. So if I keep that, now check this out. I'll go to that profile page, and instead in the profile page, there's a markup here, and then one is both of them will be main buttons, because they have that shared style, which is the border fatty, no buttons, the same padding, but one will be main button active, and the other one will be the inactive, which is the white one, like the white version of it or something like that. And then if I save all, let's hope it works. There you go. Now the only thing that I'm gonna do is specific to that one, because I wanna reuse these buttons everywhere. I'll probably don't want like the margin button to be applied to every button, so I'll probably do it here, and then I'll just say log out button. And in this particular class, in this particular page, is where I will add that. For example, you see profile page top, so it will be like at this level right here. And then all I'll do is the logout button is just margin top of 20 pixels. And then it will only, the margin top will only be applicable on the profile page, not anywhere else. I think I didn't apply at the right level, or did I save this thing also? Logout button. Logout BTN. Oh, save all. Sorry about that. Let's try again. There you go. That's exactly what I want. So now we have like our page. Check this out. So if I start from the beginning again. Welcome to Torsi. Log in with Google. Here I need to say main active. Remember, because I'm reusing that thing. So let's go back over. It's not just main button anymore. I'll make this guy the active. So let's save it again, and let's see where we are as far as the design. So welcome to Torsi, enjoy the most beautiful blah, 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 log in with Google, click, select the Google account that I want to log in with, boom, awesome. Now if I click here, log out of Torsi, it will just log me out. I can try to log in again. I can select it. And there you go, awesome. And then it says go to main page, blah, 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 awesome. If I go to main page, it will take me exactly here. Awesome. And then I'm just like normally using the application as before. And then you see now I can just click log out and take me back to the welcome page. Did you guys like that? That's awesome. I made it just right in front of your eyes. Now the last thing that I want to implement is this piece right here. Like I want to be able to access, because this is something that is available everywhere, because I wrapped it within that login service, I can access that logged in user information anywhere in the page. That's why I want to tap into that functionality from the header component and then show my picture so that it displays everywhere I am, like this, for example, anywhere I am, I want to see my little picture right there. So why don't we implement that? It's something it's like a very like straightforward implementation. Very, very, very simple. So let me show you. Remember, because we already have that service available, all I have to do is just the same thing that I did on the welcome page. You see that here I injected the login service, and then in the profile page, I injected the login service. I created like an auth user and whatnot. We'll do exactly the same thing, but we will do it here in this component in the header. So I'll start copying like some of these pieces from the profile page. Let me start closing some of these guys over. I'll take it again. So I'll do close all. I'll just open the profile page, this guy, and then the header component. So in the header component, we'll do exactly the same thing. I'll bring in this auth user. I need to import, of course, the login service and the Firebase package so that I can tap into their functionality in here. Of course, I need to import the observables also. I'll do pretty much the same thing. Check this out. I'll grab this guy in my header. I'll consume this, the login service. Of course, I have to inject it in here. Private, how did I say, login service, login service. There you go. I'll get the same logged in user. Perfect. And then here, all I'll do is in the header page. Now I'll consume it exactly the same way that I was consuming it on the profile page. So here, like in the app header, right in the header, in the right hand side of the header, like right here, I want to see like that little picture, but only when I'm logged in. If I'm logged in, I'll see a picture, and this is exactly how I'll do it. It's like super straightforward. I'll just do the same thing. Look, I'll expand this app header right region, and then I'll just create like a little ng container in there. Look, I'll create an ng container, and this ng container will only display if I have an OAuth user. So all I have to say is just ng if there's an OAuth user. Look, OAuth user async. And then that's it. If I do have an OAuth user, then this little container will display. And that's exactly what this is going to be saying. Like, I will consume that observable that gets returned when I call get logged in user. I'll get that observable, and then I'll wrap it with the async. If I have any value in there, then I show it. That means if I log out, actually what I can do here is make sure that it doesn't display at all for anybody when I log out. Here, when I log out, I can do this. Look. This.auth user.next null. That means it's null for everybody, whoever's listening to the auth user, then it will nullify it for everybody else. And that way you can keep it like very robust, very clean. No one will be able to get like a stale version or like a previous version of the auth user, or it will be like in a weird state. We'll just invalidate it for everybody who's listening when I log out. But as long as I'm logged in, I will get it, because the auth user.next will whoever subscribed to that behavior subject, the behavior subject will broadcast it by just saying this auth user.next, and then whoever subscribed will get that information. So let's go back to the header, and then I'll just continue doing that little bit of markup. So remember, I'll just create like a div, and I'm gonna call it like header user image, like that. And then all I'm gonna do here is just say image source, and then here I'm gonna consume exactly the same thing. Remember, the same thing that I have here in my in my profile page. So I can even like copy straight up like that. It's just this guy right here. So I'll just do source, this guy. Same thing. I'll just paste it right here. I think I did it with the source. And there you go, like that. Simple as that. Now I have header user image with an image tag in there. Now we should be able to see like that image up here. Let's actually let's just why don't we save it and then do it and then let's see if it even comes up over there. Perfect. Got it. Sorry, what is this? So compilation error. I think I just may not have like closed something correctly or something. Let's try it again. Let me see, did I miss anything? Oh, sorry, that's my thing. There we go. Sorry about that. Let's save again, save all, and then let's start from the beginning. I think it's still barking. Let's take a look. That's why is it blowing up? Yeah, it must have been here because I think I may. Okay, so I close the div, I close the image source. I have the auth user. What else am I missing? Oh, sorry. It just says the async. Auth user, async photo URL. No pipe found for async. Let me see. Auth user. That's exactly what I called it. Image source, auth user, async photo URL. Let me save. Let me stop it. And then make sure that I save. Let's do npm start again. Guys, spot anything wrong in there? No, I think I should. And I even copy pasted it. So let's rebuild here. I wanted to at least complete this whole thing for you guys. There you go, compiled successfully, perfect. So I think it was just maybe out of sync somehow. So now if I say login with Google, and then I log in with my name, I should be able to see like the image. There you go. See, it displays up top. And then even if I navigate to another place, it will always be there in the header. If I go to the main, it will stay there. Now, all I have to do is just change that header right there, like the image in there. All I'll do is just select this guy and probably just do like, sorry about that. So this is the header user image. We're going to do exactly the same thing. In the image, we're going to say the same thing, max width 100%. So you go, even just by doing that, it works. But I still want to emphasize that I want to do the border radius of 50%, so that it shows like a full circle. And then look at this. If I say display none, you see that just by doing this, it kind of like jumps a little, like the header. That's why I want to provide a fixed height for this guy, something that truly accommodates the height of the header. So for that, I'll just do like width 40 pixels and height 40 pixels. That way, you see my image will always show there, regardless of where I am. Even if I go to the favorites, it's still there. If I go back to my profile, it's still there. But if I log out, I think I may lose my my styles. But anyway, look, if I log out, boom, it's not there. Why? Because I invalidated it for everybody, and whoever was listening to that or was subscribed to that OAuth user behavior subject that was exported as an observable, so we can subscribe. If you null it up, then everybody who's listening just gets it, and then it just invalidates it, and then it refreshes the UI, not displaying it. So let me bring those styles over to my header. So let's come back over to the header, and then in the app header right, it's actually inside of there. So I'll do actually that header right there. I'll make sure that it's 40 pixels as well, and then I'll just do header. What did I call it? Header user image. So let's just do that. Let's do header user image, and then I'll just say padding. I don't think I need to add padding. Let's just keep it like this, and then I'll just do image max width 100%. Oh, actually, app header right. This is not where I want to do this. I want to actually do it in the actual image. So let's try this. If I do max width 100%, border radius of 50%. So the app header right could remain like that. I want the header user image to actually be the 40%, the actual container, the outer container. So let's save all. And then I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna log in. So log in with Google. I'll select another account, like my romanjustcodes account, and then we should be able to see that. There you go. You see? So I'm not hard coding anything, just so that you know. Like now, if I go to any other page, or I go like the go to main page, it will always display there for us. If you select either one of these guys, this always displays. You could go to my favorites, it's always there. You go to your profile, it is there. You log out, then it disappears. So you see, that's the beauty of leveraging Firebase authentication, using Firebase for your applications to make them more robust, more secure, in this particular case, more secure, and apply, like, add more customization and personalization so that your users feel delighted using your applications. So you see how very little configuration I had to do, how very little boilerplate and project creation I had to do just to get this to work. And then all I had to do was emphasize and focus on my user experience so that this looks like a pretty cool application. And now that I noticed here, I also need I need the width and the height here to be 40 pixels so that I don't see like this like the Torsi logo like shifting. So that's why I wanted to keep it also there. This is just representing the container, the outer container, which I happen it to be like with a 40 height. I want to keep it like that in case maybe in the future I want to maybe adjust it. So let's keep it like this, both of them the same height. But again, like I mentioned, you see how cool it was to make this application integrate authentication to make it a lot more secure, make it more robust, make it so that you add that personalized touch so that your users feel like, oh look, this is my application. I can see my name in there. Welcome Roman, blah blah blah, and stuff like that. If I save all again, let's try it again. Perfect, there you go. And then I say login with Google. I'll log in with my own account again, and there you go. See, for example, like now that you see like the preferred attractions, like this is just a hard-coded value, but remember you can actually pull it just like the same way you're doing here with the components, like here in the nav content. Well, for that, of course, you have to import the proxy service and then pull the favorites list from there, and then you just count it, right? Remember, just the same thing that we're doing here. We're gonna copy the same thing. So let's do the same thing. Let's import the proxy service in my profile component again, in my profile page. So let's go to pages, profile page, and right here. So I'm going to import that proxy service because that is the one that actually contains the information about the favorites. If you if you've been favoring attractions, it collects all those values and then it captures them, has them ready for whoever in the application wants to tap into that and subscribe to that and could listen to it. That's what it is for. So going back again to that nav component, exactly the same way that we did it, we just call this have a property like observable of any, like a favorites, just like this. Let me just paste it right under here. I'll grab then this property also is also an observable. I like using observables because again, it makes your application more, allowing that data flow of the data flow of information be very smooth, like kind of like stream based, very seamless and very robust, very decoupled. I like that fact that you can import services and then you can change them somewhere, and some other component is listening to that and then it responds to it. You see, like totally decoupled, but at the same time they communicate in one way or another. So now that I have the favorites in there, I'm gonna pull them out of exactly the same way, using this way right here. So I'll just give me the length of all the favorites and then just show them to me. So now if I go to my profile page, and then I'll just replace that 20 by this guy right here, and then if we just save all, for example, like right now I will say 0, I would imagine because we don't have any favorites right now. But again, let's log out and log back in. Let's log in again. And then in subsequent episodes, what we will do is actually persist all those favorite values, all these favorite attractions. We'll save them using Firebase Cloud Firestore. That's exactly why this episode today was very crucial, because we are already establishing like the plumbing. We've already installed Firebase. we've already installed Angular Fire, we've already added the Angular Fire module, and that is key because in the next episode, we're going to be actually, in subsequent episodes, not precisely the next one, but in subsequent episodes, we will be actually persisting all this into Firestore using Firebase Cloud Firestore. Persisting it in kind of like our that NoSQL database, like with real-time capabilities. So we're going to be storing it there so that every time you log in, every user that logs in can persist that, you know, their favorite attractions in there. Every time they log out and back in, and log back in, they don't have to favorite them again all over again. They can just persist them in their own account under their ID, like something unique, and then they can just retrieve it every time they log back in. So now look, check this out. So if I come over here and then I go to my main, or from here I go to the main page, let's just favorite 3 of these guys. And then if I go back to my profile, there you go. I have the number 3 right there. Awesome. I noticed one thing that I had to come over here, like when I click on the go to main page and then do this and then click here to go to the profile. We could just make this like little like this little image right here, like clickable, so when you click it actually takes you to the profile. Why don't we do that? Maybe this is something cool that I decided to add just like last minute. So all we have to do here is just very simple, add a click event and just say go to profile, and this method will do exactly what it says. Like right from here I can just do the same thing that I'm actually, oh, for this one I need the router, so I'll do private router router, and then that's it. And then here I'll do this that router that navigates, and then remember every time you click there, I'll just take the user to the profile page. So let's save this, and probably maybe the header image. Let's make this like cursor pointer, just in case, like let's say you use it on the web and then you use the mouse, you kind of want to have that like clicking like effect. So let's try this. Of course it doesn't show. Let's go back, let's log out, log back in, log in with this guy, and there you go. Now if you click here, of course you remain here, but then if I say go to main page, let's favorite these 3 guys, and then I just click on this little, on my face right here at the top, and then you go, it takes me right back to my profile. I can come over here, and then I can say log out, boom, and there you are. Now, the last thing that I wanted to do was, remembering the nav content, this logout, I want to hide it. I'll do like ng if there is an authenticated user. Remember, we do this auth user async like this. If there is an authenticated user, then I want to show that, you know, that means I have already logged in. So let's just do that last piece, and I think we should be good. Out of the login service, I'll do the same thing, auth user, and then it will be type, this will be type observable of Firebase.user. Did I have it here? No, I don't think I did. I had it here, so I'll just do, it's the same thing as the other, as the profile page. So I'll say import Firebase from Firebase/app. We'll you know, see, we use like all these things, we kind of reuse them in multiple places and whatnot. And then the same thing, this dot auth user, this dot logging service dot get logged in user. This is another component that is actually tapping into that, so that I can listen to the authenticated user, whether it is available or not. Then I don't show it, I don't show that link. And that's exactly what this is going to do. Show this anchor tag if there is a OAuth user. That only happens, there is an OAuth user only when I've logged in. So if I save all, and then let's try it again, and then I'm in the welcome page, if you see this, there's no logout. Now if I come over and I say login with Google, select my account, perfect, there's my profile. You see the little head. Now when I click here, there is a logout. Why? Because I am already logged in. And you see, that is the power of creating services that could be consumed by multiple components within the same application in a very decoupled fashion. Like the nav component doesn't know anything about the header, or doesn't know anything about the profile page. All it knows is that if it subscribes to the login service, to that get logged in user, it will receive a notification that there is something in there, and then it can act as a response to that. So now if I click log out, it went away, you saw it, it's gone, and then it takes me back to the welcome page. So awesome. Let me just show you here. Pretty cool. I think I like the way that it came out. The only thing that I did not implement, which I can probably do it in the next one real quick, is just changing like the theme of the header when I am on the profile page. This is a pretty cool thing that I like, that I've done in other applications where I've implemented like theming, where let's say you do it in a cascading effect using services actually. So using services, you can apply a class to a top component, and then that component trickles down. It does like a trickle down effect of the that cascading effect, applying the styles, because you applied just one class at a top component, and that top component creates like some sort of like a wrapper class using, of course, SCSS to kind of affect all the classes that are within that class that you added at the top component, and then that way you provide that cascading effect. I can tell you a lot more about that, but this is a really easy implementation if you do it with services and then implementing that CSS cascading effect of styles, which is pretty cool. This is really simple. I can definitely do it in the next one because I think we've gone a little bit too far on this, and I think we've exceeded a little bit of the time. But I definitely appreciate you sticking with me through the development of this feature of Firebase Authentication. I promised you. From the beginning, I said we'll be doing Angular 11, we'll be doing Firebase. Now we implemented for the first time Firebase Authentication. I hope you liked it. I hope you can now see how easy it is to integrate it in your Angular PWAs and web applications, mobile web applications. They are also very cool and very easy to implement in your native applications as well. So please make sure to leverage all those. Make sure to create like your own Firebase account. They're completely free for that tier. Like the free tier gives you a lot of features, a lot of flexibility, a lot of things for you to do. Once you exceed maybe those capabilities, they start charging you, but very minimal amount also, like as a pay-as-you-go type of deal. Or for example, let's say when I mentioned in the past Firebase, let's say like Firebase like cloud functions, like only they charge you when the Google Cloud function is executing. The cool thing about Firebase is that Firebase is pretty much sitting on top of Google Cloud. That's why all those things that you see in Firebase, like Firebase Cloud functions, they're actually a part of the hosted like in the Google Cloud. Firebase storage, Cloud PubSub, the real-time database, the Cloud Firestore. All of those things are actually like on top of the Google platform, on the Google Cloud platform. So I definitely encourage you to guys to create your own Firebase account, leverage all the cool things that it has to offer, and then it definitely is something pretty cool that you can add to your applications. If you saw right there, let me just recap one more time. We implemented Firebase Authentication. You saw like the amount of code that I had to do. For one, I installed. Actually, let me go to my Firebase Console. Remember, you create a project in Firebase Console. You can go to your own console. Let me go to my account. In your console in here, you can create multiple projects. I think you have like a limit of how many projects in the free tier. And then I created one just for this application. We implemented the authentication portion of Firebase Authentication. See, like I'm able to capture the information about the users that are logging in. You can add many sign-in methods. Like in this particular case, we only use the Google, but you can use Facebook, Twitter, GitHub, Microsoft, a bunch of other providers, which is pretty cool. You then create apps within your project. So in our particular case, we created one web app. You can add other type of apps like iOS, Android, Unity. But in our particular case, we created a web app. That web app then has some configuration. That configuration is then what you can use in your Angular application to instantiate the Angular Fire module. In Angular, remember, we installed the. Let me show you right here. So remember, we did npm install @angular/fire, and then we also installed the Firebase package. So you have to say npm install @angular/fire space Firebase. It installs both things and all the dependencies that you need. Then in your app.module, that's where you actually import the Angular. You import the Angular Fire module, and then that Angular Fire module needs to be bootstrapped by that configuration that you got from the Firebase. Once you initialize this module, then you can start using all those other services that the Angular Fire module provides. For example, the one that we did, that we wrapped around a service, like our own custom service, because we didn't want to be using this all over the place. All we had to do was just add it in one single place and then inject that service so that it could be reused across the application. So this one is wrapping the Angular Fire OAuth. You can actually create maybe another service that wraps maybe the Firebase the cloud Firestore, but actually you can even do it here as well. But it's best practice that you wrap those services so that you can use them throughout the application without you having to import Firebase OAuth everywhere, and then having to pull that information like that. So this is the best practices that I've implemented in here. Remember, we use the sign-in with pop-up a type of authentication using the Google OAuth provider, and then once we got the information about the authenticated user, we store it within our service so that it persists. It's part of the application's state. So we're implementing a little bit of state management for that user, and then we're persisting that authenticated user so anybody in the application can subscribe to it and receive it. What else? We implement a lot of cool things, like you saw how cool it was, like that we implemented the welcome page, we implemented the profile page. See, you saw how immediately when I click on that, then you can see like go to main page, log out. You can go to main page. The application continues working the same way that it used to before. The cool thing that we were able to add was this my little profile in there, so that you can see that you are the logged in user, that you are logged in, that you are not like an anonymous user or anything like that. You can log out and then everything goes away. You see that even the logout gets removed from here. We are persisting the favorites even in the for example, like in the profile page, but then in subsequent episodes, we're going to be implementing that so that you can actually, now every time you log in, you get your favorites. You don't have to like favorite them anymore, like all the time. And then when you log out and someone else logs in or whatever, they retrieve their favorite stuff also. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. This was again live coding after hours. I'm Roman. This is Roman Just Codes. Please follow me on Twitter at @BRCoders. That's my my Twitter handle. Please go to my portfolio, and then you can check out. You go to romanjustcodes.web.app, and then you can take a look at my portfolio in there. You can see that I broadcast via Twitch and YouTube. You can take a look at the blogs and the things that I post in my Medium account. So please follow me there as well. Clap for some of the things that I've posted in there. I would definitely appreciate it. Take a look at the apps that I've developed. Again, I'm a prolific developer, mobile, web, and multiple types of applications, desktop applications and whatnot. I've developed games, 3D games and stuff like that. There's a lot of pretty cool things with Unity and C#. Hey, you can take a look at my store. You can shop like some of the swag that I've been showcasing. Take a look, like some of the like tumblers, mugs, t-shirts. And you can definitely rock this swag also by going to shop.spreadshirt.com/romanjustcodes, and then you can shop in there. You can take a look at some of the swag that is there available for purchase. Hey, again, do you want to reach out to me? Do you want me to speak at your developer conference, or at your meetup? Via Zoom? I could do like small groups. I could do small GDGs, small groups, small meetup groups, developer groups where you want me to talk about Angular, Firebase, Google Maps, coding in general, HTML, JavaScript, CSS, all related to the web. A little bit of the, again, like Firebase backend stuff like that, cloud technologies, architecting web applications, distributed applications. I'm your guy. Please reach out to me. You can go to my my portfolio here. You can go to the contact section, and right here you can find my availability. You can book me for your next talk. I'll be glad to do it completely free. I just want to share my knowledge with the rest of the world. and delight your audience with really professional, high quality knowledge on these topics, so that your audience, your community is actually up to date on the latest and greatest when it comes to Angular, Angular 11, Firebase, Firebase Authentication, Cloud Firestore, Cloud PubSub, all these things that I've been mentioning, that I'm really passionate and happy to share with everybody. So again, I believe this is it, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please follow me on Twitter, @DearCoders. Thank you so much for tuning in again. I'm Roman. This is Life Coding After Hours. Roman Just Codes. See you on the next one.